Hi! Euros. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Fred's Euro 2024 Funzone. Just had my breakfast. I feel like I'm dipping, actually. Anyway, we today are going to do something very exciting. It was England versus Bosnia and Herzegovina last night. And there were lots of conclusions, or maybe semi-conclusions, or maybe no conclusions at all, to take from how we set up, how they performed, how we set up in the second half, how they performed, and therefore the dynamic of the squad moving forward to the Iceland game and the pick of the 26. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through how we set up in the first half and how they performed, and we're going to work through the England power rankings as we go. So here we go. I might just plot myself in the middle there. Yeah, I'm going to plot myself in the middle there. So this is, as I see it, this is, sorry, not as I see it, this is literally how it happened. This is how we set up in the first half. And these are the power rankings as I saw them before the game started. So this is how I would have seen like an order of likelihood in each position of getting on the plane. And as we go through, I'm going to discuss and change that. So first things first, Pickford started both halves. No change there. I actually wondered if he would try another keeper, but I predicted that he wouldn't. And I think that's remained the same. So obviously Pickford's number one. We knew that. But in terms of any chance of Trafford getting above Henderson, I think that's pretty much gone, because I was like, maybe he could like throw Trafford on in the second half, just see how he does, or maybe even throw Henderson on, just give us some indication of like his preference for his third choice. But ultimately, it doesn't fucking matter. I agree why he didn't do it. And for that reason, Trafford's just not going to go to the Euros, which is a shame, because as you would have saw in the first video I did, which was who I would take Trafford, because he's won a tournament with England at the youth levels in a penalty shootout. And I think that's great experience, but whatever. So Trafford's not going. Right back is a fucking issue. That's one thing that I took from the game last night. Not to jump forward, but it felt like the contrast between the first half and the end of the second half was drastic. And I know you could say, well, the opposition were getting tired and things like that. But the difference really was we had actual width from our fullbacks. We started with Konsa at right back and Trippier at left back, neither of whom play in those positions naturally. Trippier's a right footer, Konsa's a centre half, right? So we had no width and we had no support for Bowen and Eze. So like my opinion of Bowen in the first half is that he didn't perform that well. But actually, it's interesting that he was kept on throughout the whole game, and he performed really well once he had width from Trent in the second half, which we'll come on to. Eze, on the other hand, is a more self-sufficient player. He's the type of guy who'll create a chance for himself without of his own volition. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like that Jeremy Doku style, where he's just kind of running at defenders. He's a bit mental, and he'll often beat 3 or 4 players, and he showed that in the first half. And so I felt like Eze shone in the first half, despite the lack of width from the fullback, and that kind of shows why he'd be a good player to take. So that's the point about the fullbacks, just to say that right back is a fucking problem, because if we're taking Konsa to play right back because we expect Trippier to play left back if Walker's injured, that's a fucking problem. I'd imagine if Walker was injured, maybe we'd put Trippier at right back and Gomez at left back. But the point is that it's even worth questioning. Why is this not fucking obvious? Why have we not taken Tyrick Mitchell at left back? So then we've got Mitchell to start, Shaw injured, hopefully to come back, and then we've got Trippier, Walker at right back. Why have we not done that? Seems insane to me. So right back's a real problem, but obviously no change in the power ranking because we have one. So anyway, centre-backs, Stones, no change there. He didn't play. He's going to play against Iceland. Maguire is injured, apparently might not feature against Iceland either, but he will go. Guehi started last night, came off in the second half just for rotation purposes. I felt he did well, but I felt that I mean, he actually wasn't as composed as I remembered he was the last times he played for England. There was one point towards the end of the first half where he lost possession, and it was a really clear chance for the opposition. I keep saying the opposition because Bosnia and Herzegovina is too long to say. And it was a really clear chance, and it's always the old thing of like, if that chance was given away to France, we're fucked, you know? But then again, it's a friendly, maybe he's not fully switched on or whatever, fine. I think he would still be considered the choice behind Maguire at left centre-back. But I actually think, on the basis of last night, these are the power rankings in accordance with what I think Southgate is thinking in terms of who Southgate's going to put on the plane. I'm saying Konsa is now even more likely than Guehi to go on the plane. Now, I'm saying both of them are on the plane, but I'm just saying for the sake of a bit of fun that Konsa is now more embedded in the squad because Southgate was throwing him all over the fucking place last night. He started him at right back, and then when Trent moved to right back, he moved to left back, and then when Dunk came off, he moved to right centre back, which is his natural position. So Southgate has a fucking semi for players with utility. Konsa's obviously going, and I think performed decent in terms of what Southgate wants him to do. My personal opinion is that what he's being asked to do, right back and left back, is a fucking terrible job to give him, and he doesn't deserve it because he's performed so well at centre back, and we should be taking dedicated fullbacks. But that's my opinion. Anyway, Dunk, I don't like the bloke, right? He's supposed to be a ball-playing centre-back. I see no confidence with the ball, with that man, in the England team. And I haven't watched Brighton enough to know whether that's a direct mirror of his performances at club level or whatever. But I assume not, because he keeps getting called up. He did not progress the ball at all in my memory. I remember there was one point he kept refusing passes through to Trent and Palmer, who were coming short for it, and passing square. And that's a classic criticism of centre-backs. But it was insane with Dunk last night. And I'm like, why are we taking this bloke? If he's not that good on the ball, which he doesn't seem to be, he's also a little bit immobile, kind of in a Maguire kind of way, and could get done on the half turn, like Maguire. Why are we taking him because I think we probably will take him. Why are we taking him when we've got the likes of Konsa and Branthwaite who could go instead? I'm making myself lightheaded talking about it. Fuck. Oh, fucking hell. So anyway, I guess Dunk didn't do himself a disservice because he didn't make a big mistake, but he fucking did in the last friendlies. Quansah didn't play, and Branthwaite was brought on in the second half, so I think Quansah his chances are done, unfortunately. I think it kind of makes sense. So we'll come back to that battle when we come to the second half. Shaw, Trippier, Gomez. So Shaw's obviously going if he has the chance to play. He's obviously going. Trippier's obviously going because even if he was playing at right back, he'd be going. But we need him as a left back, apparently. So he's obviously going. Gomez, do you know what? I'm going to do the second half comparison as we go. Fucking hell. Gomez did come on in the second half. I'm going to put this one here. This is the second half team. Gomez did come on in the second half. This is how we finished the game, right? And so he played left back and he provided way more width than Trippier did or Konsa did. Way more width. And he combined pretty well with Grealish, to be fair. So I see Gomez as going, personally. Just coming back to this battle between Dunk and Branthwaite, this was how we finished off. I thought Branthwaite was decent when he came on. He's almost like Maguire but mobile. Like he's an absolute slabhead, but he's young and kind of seems quite rapid. So I personally would take Branthwaite over Dunk, and I still think that's a question mark in Southgate's mind. I think this is the battle for the final spot at centre-back, but maybe we'll take another one. But I think we won't. I think we'll just take one of them because Gomez can fill in at centre-back as well. So I think we're taking one of these. technically maybe not a very astute discussion because Dunk plays right centre-back, Branthwaite left centre-back, but let's put a pin in that for now. Going back to the first half. So then we had Gallagher. The reason why I've put this here is because this is how I perceived the power rankings before the game started. Gallagher as a CM and 8. But after the game, Southgate talked about how Gallagher showed his qualities on the ball and off the ball in a similar way to what we need from Rice. Those were more or less the words that he said, which means, and he did seem to be playing as the 6, right? Which is weird because Gallagher has played as an 8 or a 10 for Chelsea for the end of the season. But anyway, which means that Gallagher is actually down in that CDM 6 slot in Southgate's mind, seemingly, because Trent played as the 8. So Gallagher, Southgate seems to think he did well. Personally, I wouldn't be fucking taking the bloke, but Southgate seems to think he did all right on and off the ball, apparently. I don't think he came off for the entire game. See how he finished. No, he didn't. So Southgate likes him. He's definitely got legs, so that's fine. Coming on to Wharton. So Wharton actually finished the game as the 6, and Gallagher moved across to the 8. Flexibility here. Modern tactician, Southgate is. And I think Wharton performed really well. He was combining with Gomez and Grealish on that left side. I've put it on the right side here just so Gallagher is... On that left side. Actually, shall we change it? Let's change it. Because it's not representative otherwise. Wharton was the 6 and Gallagher was the 8. That's how we finished, right? He was combining so well on that left side. He was 1-2 touch, progressing the ball, keeping the attack fluid. He was not passing sideways and backwards. He was passing forwards. And that was fantastic. Now, will he go? I don't know. There's a question mark on that one. So I'm just going to put a question mark there and come back. And I'm going to put a question mark on those two and come back. So at the 8, we had Trent starting the game. This is the starting lineup now again. We had Trent starting the game as the 8 and seemed to show a real intent to, again, progress the ball. Lots of, I would say, pinpoint long passes, but a lot of them didn't reach their target in the first half. Second half, a lot better. Now, Trent, in the second half, did eventually move back to right back. And again, that was the key moment for me where I was like, fucking hell, this team's a different team when we have width from the fullbacks. A different team. And that's why Gomez played so well, because he's not a natural fullback, and yet he did really well with that. Trent, overlapping with Bowen, produced so many chances. So many chances. Not only the fucking goal that he scored, right? So Trent actually had more chance to go forward as the right back than he did as the 8, which is really important because Trent's delivery from the right is massive for us. And by him simply overlapping, not even on the ball, allowed Bowen to create more chances. So Trent's obviously going, but I just think I want to go back to the fact that we need to fucking sort out the fact that we do not have width. Obviously, when Walker starts, we do, but on the left, if Shaw doesn't start, we're fucked because he's not starting Gomez. So, Trent's obviously going. Now, Mainu... Oh, fucking hell. I thought Mainu... I should have actually put him here at first. I thought Gallagher was as the 8 and Mainu was being taken as another 6, right? But it turns out, I think Mainu's being taken as an 8, not in direct contention with Wharton, who I thought he was in direct contention with. I think it's like him versus Jones, basically. And by the looks of it, Jones didn't start or come on for this game. And so Jones looks like he hasn't really got a fucking chance because he probably would have if Southgate wanted to look at him. Mainu will play against Iceland, probably start. So I say Mainu's going and I say Jones is thunderfucked. And that is, I know you're being like, oh, well, Mainu didn't even play and Jones didn't even play, so how the fuck are you saying that? I'm saying that because Jones was available and didn't play. Instead of Jones having any minutes, he gave Gallagher, Trent and Wharton minutes, who's also a fellow debutant. So I don't think Jones has got a chance if he's not already started. He's not going to throw him on against Iceland and then be like, fucking hell, Jones smashed it, let's take him off. He's not going to do that. Jones is not going. Now, I would play Bellingham as an 8. We've been through this, but Southgate obviously sees him as a 10. And Maddison is obviously our only other natural out-and-out 10. Now, Palmer, you could argue, is now here. And for the purposes of this discussion, I'm going to leave him there. Because he started at 10, as you can see by my lovely lineup. And Bowen starting at right wing seems to suggest that Southgate sees Bowen as the cover for Saka. He's very industrious, just like Saka. And he's got a right foot as well, which is a nice alternative to Saka. So, or it might be ambidextrous Bowen, actually. Anyway, I'm going to put Palmer in the CM spot, but might be the understudy to Saka, might be the understudy to Bellingham. It's difficult to say, to be honest. He might even be the understudy to Foden, who can obviously go across the front line. He's one of those players with the flexibility, versatility, utility, whatever you want to say, that is obviously going. And wherever you want to put him, he's probably second place. So he's either second to Bellingham, second to Saka, or second to Foden. So I'll leave him there. Now, Maddison, I previously wasn't taken in my squad. Now, this is what I think Southgate's going to take. Maddison came on in the second half and did well, to be honest. Like, every time he comes on, he seems to produce something. And I can't take that away from him, even though I don't think he's up to much, really, especially towards the end of the season. I think as like an out-and-out 10, in the last video, I was like, I don't think he has the versatility to take him, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe a specialist is a good thing to have in the squad. I'm going to leave him there with a question mark for now. Saka and Bowen are going. Bowen came on. He kept him on for the whole game. He's got the legs. Southgate loves how industrious he is. He won't fucking shut up about it. Saka and Bowen are going. I would put a question mark against Bowen personally, but yeah. Foden's obviously going, no change there. Gordon, I think, previously was in the prime second in line for that left wing spot. But now there is a fucking fight going on. And it is that, if I can get them all on one fucking line. Gordon versus Grealish versus Eze. Who is our second choice left wing? And out of everything, because of the squad Southgate has picked, this is actually our biggest discussion. Who is our second choice left wing? So, Gordon's not available because he was injured. I think he would have started, which has then opened the door to Eze, who started in his place as the kind of like, oh, he's not been in the camp very much. I think has he got called up once before, is it? I can't remember, but he's very early on. Same for Gordon. Started him, let's have a look at him. And then in the second half, so that was where he started on the left wing in the first half here. Then in the second half, brought on Grealish in the left wing. And Grealish, got an assist. So me, as a Grealish denier, really has to fucking sit down and have a good old long hard look in the mirror about what Grealish can offer to us as an alternative to a Gordon or an Eze type. Which makes me think, unfortunately, that Grealish is going, for the love of God, and it's actually Gordon versus Eze for that final left wing spot. And we'll come back to that because we need to have a fucking count and see how many spots we've got left. But Eze, in Gordon's absence, performed brilliantly. He was nipping around like Speedy Gonzalez, darting in and around, creating things out of nothing in a way that probably only Trent was trying to do in the first half. Not even Palmer. I think only Trent was really pushing the issue. Was that the right word? Anyway, like Eze was. And for that reason, Eze's really put his name up there because, I don't know, I think his head was on the chopping block before. And then we got the strike situation, centre forward situation. Kane's obviously going. Watkins, again, performed badly. I don't know what's going on with Well, I have a theory about what's going on with Watkins. Villa's set up almost like a 4-4-2 sometimes, especially in possession. Watkins has the freedom to roam in that Villa squad across the front line, whereas our system normally allows Kane to drop and fast wingers to pass, and also Bellingham now as well, to go beyond him. Watkins almost seems like he looks like he feels straitjacketed to the number 9 position, and he doesn't know how to drop and feed our wingers or our number 10 like a Kane does. The only reason that's a question is because I think that is part of Tony's game. Now, has Tony had a better season? No. Has Tony, Is Tony a better player on paper, regardless of form? No. Can Tony take a banging penalty? Yes. Can Watkins? No. I just read this morning, Watkins missed more penalties than he's scored, ever. That's insane. He's missed 5 and scored 4. So, I think this is a question. Now, if Tony doesn't get any minutes versus Iceland, then it's done. Because Kane's starting versus Iceland, I think he said. I think Southgate said. And so if Tony doesn't come on as a sub, the game's over. Now, I've put verses there. I think ultimately, this is what's going to happen. I actually kind of disagree because I feel like I said, in terms of style, Tony is a like-for-like replacement with Kane. And you can take Bowen, who has played at centre-forward, and even Gordon's played at centre-forward for the under-21s when he won the tournament last year. And that's kind of a similar style to Watkins. So I personally would take Tony instead of Watkins. Just based on the fact that Tony didn't get any minutes yesterday and Kane did. I know he needed to get some minutes in his legs and all that. I just don't see Tony going. So let's go through and talk about who's going. So we've got 1, 2, 3. That's done. That's locked in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 locked in. So we've got 8 locked in. I'm going to bold the ones who are definitely locked in. 9, 10, 11 locked in. 12, 13 locked in. 14, 15 locked in. 16, 17 locked in. 18, 19 locked in. 20, 21 locked in. 22, 23 locked in, right? So then we come to what is our 11 and our subs looking like for the tournament. Now, I might not even do this because I don't think it's necessary. I think it's looking pretty clean on this power rankings page, but I'll just keep it there just in case. Now, if we're talking about the back line, right? Southgate has normally taken 9 defenders in his squads. I'll tell you why I know that, because I counted. So currently, we have 5, 6, 7, 8. You could argue Trent goes as a utility 9th, but then I would maybe think Southgate's a bit more cautious and would maybe say, okay, we'll take a dedicated 9th as an out-and-out, given that he might actually start Trent at 8 at the centre mid position. So then you're talking, is it Dunk versus Branthwaite for who goes? And I hate to say, I think it's Dunk. I would take Branthwaite, but I hate to say, I think it's Dunk. So if it was one of those two, I think it's Dunk. I'm going to strike out Branthwaite, and we'll see where the Dunk is going, depending on the numbers down here. Wharton has really put his name into the mixer, into the hat. on a really good performance. And I think he'll get more minutes versus Iceland and could see himself really challenging for a final spot. But it just depends if we're going to take Gordon and Eze or Gordon or Eze. It's a tough one. Because if we've got 3 spots left and... Yeah, I'm saying Dunk's going to be one of those spots because Southgate is kind of taking Concert just for illustrative purposes. He's kind of taking Concert as another right back, really. Dunk as another right centre back in place of Concert, and Guehi as Maguire's understudy. Unfortunately, I think how that's going, and then Gomez is like an extra left back. Trent's going as an 8, but really it's a sneaky way to take another right back. I think that's how it's looking. So I think we have 2 spots left, right? So that's between... Oh, fuck. I forgot about Maddison. I missed him in there. Oh. We've got 4 spots at that double pivot, really. 2 starting, 2 understudy. Rice is starting... Trent, Mainu or Gallagher, any one of those could start next to Rice, actually. So they're all going. So does he take Wharton or does he take Maddison? Oof. Does he take Wharton or does he take Maddison? That's a real tough one. Fuck. Maddison's got the more squad experience. He's got more big game experience. I think he will take Maddison because otherwise that kind of Bellingham spot is looking a little bit weak because he doesn't seem keen to play Gallagher at 10. Palmer is 10 and a right winger. So I think he's going to take Maddison. Yeah. So let's just double check. I think we've got 1 spot left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We've got 1 spot left. Which means to me that we're not taking Wharton, who has performed well. But I just feel like he's not going to take another pivot when we have 4 and Bellingham can play there as well, when he really likes Gordon and he really liked what Eze did in this game from what I saw in his press conference. Gordon or Eze? Do you know what? I know I said it was the biggest question in the squad, but I actually didn't see it coming down to this crunch point between those two, actually. I thought the crunch point might be in centre mid, but I feel like that kind of decides itself. Because look, if we don't take another winger, yes, Palmer can play on the wing, but we might play Foden centrally. Grealish doesn't really have that touchline penetration that one of these two gives. Oh, it is a tough one. I actually can't decide. I actually don't think even... I think this is probably the question that maybe Southgate doesn't know the answer to right now. So I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to answer that. I think we'll probably see after the Iceland game whether it's one of those two. See what Gordon's injury is looking like. Now, without going into the weeds too much, obviously the iterations of this could be... The denominations? Or whatever of this could be... If Shaw isn't fit to go, then you'd probably argue you'd take Branthwaite as another centre-back, blah, 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 blah. But let's not get into that. I think currently this is the power ranking of the England squad. And we'll see after the Iceland game how it's looking. I'm excited to hopefully see Gordon and Eze on the pitch. unfortunately, I do feel like Grealish is locked in just because of his tournament experience and his squad experience. And I hope Manu gets some minutes as well. But we'll be back later this week to preview that game, and where we'll be seeing our power rankings, and I'm sure we'll be doing this lineup here again. So, look, I know no one's really watching. I know no one's really watching these, but this is really special in my life. I love international tournaments. I don't support a club because I grew up in Scarborough and the club went bankrupt when I was about 9, and then they rebuilt the club when I was about 13, and it was Scarborough, like fucking Herons or something, and I can't be arsed. It's in the Evo stick, 3rd, North, whatever. Can't be arsed, right? So I don't support a club. England is where I channel all my energy into every 2 years. And I'm devastated every time we lose, because we probably will lose. And I'm not saying that from a position of like, oh, same old England. I'm not that type of person. I'm entirely optimistic. Like, I'm go to a tournament, try and win the tournament. I even felt like that during the Roy Hodgson days. Like, and that was out of control. That was like never going to happen. And we knew that deep down at the time. This time we do have a chance of winning it. We're maybe in the top 4 favourites. So I'm optimistic. I'm just saying we probably won't do it, chances are, because there's other teams wanting to do it as well. And I will be devastated. And I want you to come on that journey with me. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a month of these, so strap in. And tell your friends, because I'd like to have some discussion with some other people. Thanks for joining. See you next time.